Figured tonight be a good night to do it. We'll do the Oshun, or O'Shea, I believe is the way you say it. I think. Now, names of things get changed a lot. You know what I mean? Like the names of the gods and all these different things change over the years. It always does. It always does. Now, what I realized is you gotta pay attention to the similarities. Now, the similarities is usually their powers on what, people pray to them for. It's usually the astrological stuff that they're connected to is what gives it away for me. And this is why I want to do this. Now, I'm not going to pretend like I know everything. But I am going to act like I do pick up on certain things. Because that's what he made me for. Now, the way I see it is other people picked up on things, and that's what got me to where I am, because they said the things they needed to say, which furthers the understanding. Just as life changes, we change. Just as there's so much in life, no one man can know it all. So, I say that to say this. It's not about me being right or wrong. It's about the truth that we see together. Sound the horns. Sound the horns.
No matter what tradition or belief we belong to, there is always that aspect of the divine that often puts people at ease in an almost maternal fashion regardless of their status, while paving the way for humanity to thrive for greater achievements. In the Yoruba pantheon of divinities,
wow, I never noticed that. The first time I watched this, I didn't notice that the squiggly lines in the background, it's a lion. That's the nose right there, and that's the eye right there. You see it? It's real funny that I just peeped that. Judah Lion.
Oshun is perhaps the deity who is mostly likened to this. Based from the Yoruba culture, she is commonly addressed as the river spirit, and is typically associated with fresh and sweet waters, fertility, sensuality, and love. Oshun is the youngest among the Orisha according to some sacred stories, and she is considered to be one of the most prominent divinity venerated by the Yoruba, and just like the others, she equally possesses human characteristics such as perseverance but also spite, vanity, and jealousy.
Vegeta.
It's believed that when the Supreme God finished creating the earth, he sat back to contemplate his work, then realized that sweetness and love, the two things that would make life worth living, were missing, so he created Oshun and sent her to earth to cultivate those qualities for humanity.
Let's run that back. We ain't gonna let you just say that without,
But also spite, vanity, and jealousy. It's believed that when the Supreme God finished creating the earth, he sat back to contemplate his work, then realized that sweetness and love, The two things that would make life worth living were missing, so he created Oshun and sent her to Earth to cultivate those qualities for humanity. This
You see how no culture gets away from the magic hand that nobody can see the body or what? You get it? You get it? Do you understand that book says angels haven't even seen his face this whole entire time? There's millions of angels that never seen his face. They don't even know if this is all real up in their world. They don't know. They don't know. They never seen him.
prominent entity is very generous and loving, but also has an extraordinary temper, which is difficult to sway when provoked, but in most cases she teaches mankind how to overcome difficulties through kindness and diplomacy.
What I do?
Oshun is often depicted as the most beautiful female Orisha who's charming and coquettish. She exhibits all characteristics associated with fresh-flowing water that always appear vivacious and refreshing, or sometimes pictured as a mermaid, which refer to her water spirit title, while elsewhere she is often painted admiring her own beauty in a mirror, because of her undeniable sex appeal and sensual power that encapsulates the feminine ideal.
So, Oshun is somewhere along the lines mixed up with mermaids. I thought white people were the mermaids. You know, they always show them as the mermaids and no one else.
Though many would see her self-admiration as vain or even shallow, in contrary, she is trying to show that there's an endless power in self-love, self-confidence, and self-reflection.
Stunting on them.
To respect one's worth is also to understand and be able to appreciate yourself as a whole before anyone else, which are the paths that lead to better improvement, so her devotees can learn that there is power in loving and admiring their own capabilities.
The thing I teach?
It has often been claimed that the Orisha is fond of everything shiny and glittery, and as a compliment to her beauty and charm, she's usually dressed and covered with golden clothes and wearing all kinds of jewelry such as golden beads and bracelets that jingle seductively when she moves. As a precious metal, gold is associated with prosperity, wealth, glamour, and beauty, while the color on itself as well as yellow and amber symbolize compassion, love, wisdom, and in some cases magic. And as in homage to this water spirit, many women from West and East,
I ain't gonna let that go by your head. I ain't gonna let that go by, y'all.
As well as yellow and amber symbolize compassion, love, wisdom, and in some cases magic. And as in homage...
Oh, so yellow represent magic. And I've been running around cloning myself. And I wonder why the Lord made me buy those glasses, because I really like them now.
To this water spirit, many women from West and East African cultures traditionally wear golden beads and chains around their waists as a symbol of fertility, femininity, and sensuality.
Didn't know
There are several Yoruba myths existing which concern Oshun and her significance as a Yoruba divinity. In most Yoruba stories, she is generally portrayed as the nurturer of humanity and the mother of all existential sweet things, with one myth particularly highlighting her as the central figure in the creation of the world. The Yoruba people believe that once upon a time, the supreme god sent 17 Orishas down on earth to populate and fructify the land. Meanwhile, she was one of these original Orisha, but was also the only female deity while the other were all male. However, after reaching the earth, Oshun was neglected and
So, my father made 18 of his angels go down to the world and said, create things, make things fair, do things. I'm going to send this woman down there with you, though. Let's see if God men aren't as stupid as man. Like, because I did make a video recently saying that the thing... Sorry, Father. The Lord that I serve makes special women. Make angel women. And they have to do special things because they hold the power of whatever it is that the Lord gives them.
Out by the others who judged her presence useless for the task, believing this was a...
We ain't gonna let you just skip past that with your male chauvinism.
They were all male. However, after reaching the earth, Oshun was neglected and singled out by the others who judged her presence useless for the task, believing this was a man's job to revive humanity. So they all tried to do it on their own by using different kind of powers, but none of these were successful. Overwhelmed by this situation and after so many failures in their attempts to achieve what they came down on Earth for, the 16 male Orishas realized how incapable they were for completing the task given by the Supreme God. Feeling all ashamed, they decided to go back to him in heaven to explain what had happened and hoping that a suitable solution would be granted to them. But upon hearing their plea, the Supreme God simply told them that the solution to this matter left heaven with them and hasn't returned ever since, so they have to seek for her then bring her back if they want this problem to be solved. Soon as they know, the Orishas realized this was Oshun the Supreme God was talking about, and they also understood that in no circumstances masculinity can produce life on its own, so they needed this deity personifying fertility to help them make life blossom on Earth.
Good to know. Are we keeping up, class? That means the creator is the only one that can create a female and male form. That's not him. Or her. Him. Whatever you want to call it. Right? Now, that would mean the angels, the gods, they can't even do it. Just like it just said. You know, just like man, we can't do it. But they're working on it. And I understand people of the ancient days of women, you know, miraculous conception and all of that. I ain't seen it yet. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying that's like a special thing. That's usually like a special thing. That, you know, the story with the Immaculate Conception is like my father. That's how my father got here. So, you know, that's for super special people.
No circumstances masculinity can produce life on its own, so they needed this deity personifying fertility to help them make life blossom on Earth. The male Orisha searched for her all over, then asked her to help them, which she gently agreed without making any fuss whatsoever. And upon her return, Oshun brought forth her powerful waters that gave life to mankind and other species. In this version of the story, as there is another, the male spirits attempted to make the world without a female influence, and this exclusion is what caused the world to ultimately fail. While the first version actually reflects a patriarchal influence on Yoruba narratives that sprang up with the influence of Abrahamic religions. Therefore, the second version is in line and more consistent with traditional Orisha beliefs, which revere feminine powers as well as it would be for masculine supernatural powers.
You heard him say some of this lines up with Abrahamic religion. You know that's what the Bible is, right? So, would you say they're cousins? Would you say these people know each other? They both believe in the Father. They both believe in angels. They just call them Oshuns. What they call them. I can't pronounce it right now. It's a new word for me, so give me time. Sorry to disrespect you.
Powers.
We ain't gonna let you skip past that neither.
Is in line and more consistent with traditional Orisha beliefs, which revere feminine powers as well as it would be for masculine supernatural powers. And just like this Yoruba story goes, Oshun is considered the divinity presiding over fertility, and without her actions humanity would immediately and simply cease to exist. In contrast to the previous myth, Oshun doesn't only give life, but also takes it away. When angered, she can bring forth so much water to flood the land, or may destroy it by withholding her waters, thereby...
Okay, is that not what it says about the Lord? That he's the one that can give and take life? And didn't I tell you he gives his sons and daughters the orders to do his work? He's not getting his hands dirty for the peasants. He's waiting for that final showdown when your father thinks that he really is him. And he's like, okay, now I'm going to beat you up in front of all your peoples. And prove to them, you're my little dude. Now get in place.
By causing heavy droughts and destroying crops. The Yoruba themselves have a myth involving the wrath of Oshun, telling how she was so furious at her devotees that she sent down massive rains that nearly flooded the world. But once she has been appeased, she spared her people from destruction by calling back the waters she unleashed upon them.
Now, wouldn't my father be like the ultimate genius because he would understand the feminine spirit would control the waters? Because, how do they give birth? What do you birth in? You birth surrounded by water. You breathe underwater for 9 months. Because my father made a tube to go up your nose and protect you. Scuba gear. Get it? We stole everything from him. And we claim it and sell it for ourselves without giving tribute or respect. He doesn't like that. Now, anyway, isn't it funny that she controls the waters, the great flood that we all keep hearing about? A woman spirit, What's that thing they go berserk on? The period? The bloody waters? Haven't we been seeing red water everywhere around the earth? I wonder if Oshun's trying to warn people. You're pissing me off!
Although she often appears to the world as a happy young woman with no cares, she can be petulant and demanding when her whims are not met and can be vindictive when crossed. Vultures and particularly peacocks are her symbols due to the story in which the Orishas rebelled against the supreme god, thinking they could run the universe without him as they live closer among the people on earth.
Oh, so his children in this story disobey Daddy and say we could run it better. Do you see that Star Wars, Heaven Wars? My father's been like, this is what's been going on this whole time. That book says he always sends them down to represent him. And then they realize that I can make these idiots worship me like I'm him. And they do. And then he does what he needs to do.
As punishment, he withheld the rains, which induced any forms of life to start dying every single day. The Orishas knew that it was them who angered the supreme god and not the people who later begged them to be saved, so they tried to summon Olodumare to bring back the rain. Oshun then turned herself into a peacock to fly and reach the supreme god sitting far up in heavens. However, the long journey exhausted her, but touched by her determination and bravery, Olodumare healed the Orisha and ultimately allowed her to bring the rains back to the people, thus saving humanity. In this context,
so would you say that the gods everybody serves, my daddy, can cut their power source off because she controls the water. She flooded the whole world. They needed it to rain so we can eat and grow crops, and they thought they could do better. So he said, yeah, no more rain. Now do better. I created that. Now go make it. Show me you're me. Rule over them like I do. Oh yeah, you can't make anything. You have to use my stuff. Then you're not me.
Oshun and her sacred birds are seen as symbols of perseverance and courage. Therefore, due to her lack of self-interest, the supreme god rewarded her by making her his favorite Orisha. Because of her tremendous sensuality, Oshun won many lovers, among whom was Orunmila, the Orisha of wisdom and divination. But the marriage that is the most prominent and the most commonly discussed is the one she had with the Yoruba deity of lightning and thunder. The story along that line says that in her mortal life, Oshun is said to have fallen in love with King Shango, who ruled the Oyo Empire at the time before turning into an Orisha after his death. Since then, Shango has been married to 3 wives, with Oshun mentioned as to have been his favorite, subsequently becoming the first woman to be referred to as an Ayalade, which is a high-ranking female chieftain in most Yoruba traditional states.
Oh, I've been talking about like this, about how women are supposed to have power and like not be oppressed, but they have certain power. And she was a god. You get this? And she came down into a body and she married a mortal man. Did she say, I run things now, little ass nigga. No, she became his wife and ruled with him. And then because he did such a good job, the Lord made him a god. That's what it just said. I like his outfit too. Snappy red. Dude got a battle axe. I think I made a line saying Conan with the He-Man straps and the battle axe or some shit like that. Like, it's funny that, things are just really weird.
Following her posthumous deification, Oshun was admitted to the Yoruba pantheon as an aspect of a primordial divinity of the same in most Yoruba traditional states. Following her posthumous deification, Oshun was admitted to the Yoruba pantheon as an aspect of a primordial divinity of the same name. According to local traditions, the first encounter between Oshun and humanity took place in the Nigerian city of Oshogbo, which is now considered to be sacred by the Yoruba,
Mermaid.
as it is believed to be fiercely protected by the powerful spirit.
It was a little extra to make Kettle Brand see.
The legend holds that Oshun granted permission to the people of Oshogbo to build the city nearby the Oshun River, and she promised to always provide for them and grant their prayers if they worship her dutifully by praying, making the obligatory offerings, and perform other significant rituals in her honor. Out of that first interaction between the people of Oshogbo and the water spirit ensued a festival known as the Oshun Festival, which is still celebrated by the Yoruba people up to this day. Each year, devotees of Oshun and other people belonging to Yoruba religious tradition would go to the Oshun River to pay tribute to the water spirit.
Isn't it funny how Oshun, Oshun, is the same thing as the Ocean? Ocean. Sounds like, two sisters. Oh yeah, she has a big sister and she runs the lakes and the things, and the other one runs the ocean. Like Poseidon.
Offer sacrifices and pray for a variety of things such as wealth and pregnancies for families. The procession is led by young women, especially virgins from the king's lineage and who now bear the name Aruba. The chosen carriers of Oshun's sacred calabash will be the ones offering the sacrifice to the deity. And even though other Orishas are honored during this festival, its climax is solely centered around Oshun. The city of Oshogbo is also the home of a sacred forest located along the banks of the Oshun River just on the outskirts of the city itself. This sacred site is called Oshun-Oshogbo Sacred Grove, which has been established almost 5 centuries ago, contains several artwork as well as shrines and sanctuaries honoring Oshun. The dense forest of the Oshun Sacred Grove is among the last remnants of the primary high forest still existing in southern Nigeria, which used to adjoin the edges of most Yoruba cities before extensive urbanization. Based in some accounts, the Yoruba people had several sacred groves in Yoruba land.
It's crazy because Nigeria keeps coming up all the time, and I'm literally going to do an episode on Nigeria, and I don't know what to do it about. Like, I don't want to hate because I keep seeing things like this, and they have some similarities.
But the Oshun-Oshogbo Sacred Grove was the only site that survived the arrival of Christianity and has been since then very precious in the Yoruba culture.
Oh, we ain't gonna let that just go by.
The Oshun-Oshogbo Sacred Grove was the only site that survived the arrival of Christianity and has been since then very precious in the Yoruba culture. It's not accidental to often come across images picturing Oshun drenched with honey or wearing a honey pot around her waist, because in many cultures honey represents fertility and pregnancy as well as male sexual pleasure. On the more
Don't she like a
level,
female
honey
Buddha?
Represents an auspicious omen and a sign of good luck and joy.
Don't she look like a Buddha?
Often associated with the concepts of femininity and the
Big
power of
belly.
women, Oshun is particularly significant for those who want children, and whoever may suffer from infertility usually call upon her for assistance. Oshun is especially important to women from West African cultures, but also to any woman of West African descent now living in the diaspora. With the impact of the
transit, let that just pass by.
Oshun is especially important to women from West African cultures, but also to any woman of West African descent now living in the diaspora. With the impact of the transatlantic slave trade, the Yoruba religion greatly dispersed and impacted other cultures outside the African continent. Oshun has subsequently become an important figure that is now found in the Americas, where she is known by other names in Brazil and within the Santeria religion of the Caribbean. She's syncretized with the Virgin of La Caridad de Cobre, who is the patroness of Cuba, which makes her precious to Cuban citizens who celebrate her feast day of September 8th as a major holiday. In Brazil, she has been adopted in all Afro-Brazilian religions as the Orisha of the fresh waters, worshipped at rivers and waterfalls.
Oh, the Afro-Latinos embrace her. Well, it is an ancient Egyptian god, so makes sense.
With her devotees seeking for her whenever dealing with romantic problems related to marriage or other relationships. As the Orisha of financial life through wealth and prosperity, she earned the name Lady of Gold, referring to copper, which was the most valuable metal back in the time. In the Candomblé pantheon, Oshun is often called Lady of the Moon, and she is portrayed as the patron deity of gestation and fecundity who receives prayers from women wishing to have children while protecting them during pregnancy. The Orisha also look after children until they begin to speak, reason why she is affectionately called Mama Oshun by her devotees. However, in this latter role, Oshun highly shares similarities with another Orisha, and as such confusion is often made between them. Although in nature Oshun rules over rivers, Yemaya, her older sister, is said to have dominion over all waters on earth. So based on the location where they are both supposed to be worshipped, smaller water bodies like rivers and lakes are more suitable for worshipping Oshun, while much larger water bodies, like the ocean, belong to Yemaya. Yemaya and Oshun have a close relation.
Yemaya, Yemayan. I thought Poseidon was a man. Well, Egypt comes before Greek and everything, so is Aquaman really a girl? I wonder if they changed him into a girl in a comic book. Fun fact, all love, all praise.